Welcome back, everyone. We're back again. We're this time we normally did like animated D&D classes or sub races or not sub races, subclasses, classes, and races. This time I decided to do something a little bit different. I've been really enjoying reading the Rising of the Shield Hero novels, and I love watching the anime. And I was recently watching Dungeon Dudes, where they were reacting to some of the top five magic items in D&D, or within their opinions. And there was this mace, something called might have been Hammer of Thunderbolt, something or Thunderclap, something like that. And it had this cool kind of feature where it had like a base kind of level that anyone, if they picked it up, they got to use it. But if they had the right things with it, it actually unlocked the true hidden ability with inside it. And I thought that was a kind of cool idea to have for the legendary weapons that the heroes have in Rising of the Shield Hero, with the shield, sword, spear, and bow. So I kind of went for an idea with that. So let's kind of dive right into it. So I just called it Animated D&D Magic Items. There are four legendary weapons: the shield, the sword, the spear, and the bow. The purpose of the legendary weapons is to defend the world by fighting back against the interdimensional hordes of monsters called waves. You could maybe reskin this in your game against maybe fighting the spawns of the underworld, devils, demons, celestials, whatever you want. Creatures from other planes like fire plane, water plane, etc., etc. The legendary weapons are normally dormant, providing bonuses to their wielders, and when they are fully awakened, they provide immense powers. So let's start off with the legendary hero shield. So its base, it's an armor, technically is a shield. It's legendary and it requires attunement. You gain a +3 to your AC while wielding the shield. You can benefit only from one shield at a time. Attacking with the shield counts as an unarmed strike. So basically, it's a +3 bonus to your AC because a base shield provides you a +2 bonus to your AC. So this is basically like a +1. So it's a +1 shield, so you actually have a +3 bonus to your overall AC. So it's not too bad. And then we have the Shield of Wrath, which requires attunement. You must be wearing a suit of adamantine armor, any variety. So I think you can't wear studded leather, but you can have like scale mail, full plate, etc. All different types of armor, but it has to be made out of adamantine. And a cloak of protection to attune to this item. The attunement ends if you take off either of those items. While you're attuned to this weapon and holding it, your AC increases by 4, and you gain advantage on grapple checks. When you're targeted by range attacks, they must be rolled at disadvantage. So basically, you get a +4, but this doesn't stack with the previous +3. Otherwise, you have like +7 AC, and that's bonkers. But from adamantine armor, you're going to get a lot of bonuses, and the cloak of protection is going to provide even more. So you'll have a +4 from the shield, so it's kind of like a +2, but you get extra bonuses on top of it. But maybe you could describe with your DM, and maybe you could get 7. But from my point of view, it would just be 4, +4 overall from the shield. The shield also has 5 charges. While attuned to it, you can expend 1 charge as a reaction and cast the spell Hellish Rebuke. When you are being damaged by a creature within 60 feet of you that you can see, you point your finger, and the creature that damaged you is momentarily surrounded by hellish flames. The creature must make a dexterity saving throw. Where's my mouse? Must make a dexterity saving throw DC 17. Because this is a magic item, it has its own stats, so you have to go by this rather than your own. Possibly you could be like level 1 and you have DC 17, which would be bonkers. But you're unlikely to start with these particular items. It takes the creature takes 2d10 fire damage on a failed save, or half as much on a successful one. The shield regains 1d4 plus 1 expended charges daily at dawn. And proficiency with the shield allows you to add your proficiency bonus to attack rolls for any attack you make with it. So I know normally shields you're not allowed to make an attack with it, but in this case I thought it'd be kind of cool if you could. But it would just be an unarmed strike, so it'd be like 1d4 plus your strength modifier. So it's not too bad. So most damage you're going to do with it is not that much. Then we have the legendary hero sword. Weapon, longsword, legendary, requires attunement as per all the other weapons. You gain a +1 bonus to attack and damage rolls made with this magic weapon. And then the legendary attuned part of it is the legendary Vorpal Blade, requires attunement. You must be wearing a set of boots of striding and sprinting and a pair of gloves of missile snaring to attune to this weapon. The attunement ends if you take off either of those items. While you're attuned to this weapon and holding it, you gain a +3 bonus to attack and damage rolls made with this magic weapon. In addition, the weapon ignores resistance to slashing damage. So basically, you have a +1 here, but once you unlock the full abilities of it, it goes up to +3. So it's not +4, it's just +3. Otherwise, it'd be crazy strong. So you can also, so if you're going up against a barbarian, you can actually do some serious damage to him. When you attack a creature that has one head with this weapon and roll 20 on the attack roll, you cut off one of the creature's heads. The creature dies if it can't survive without the lost head. If a creature is immune to this effect, if it's immune to slashing damage, doesn't have or need a head, has legendary actions, or the GM decides that the creature is too big for its head to be cut off with its weapon. Such a creature takes an extra 68 slashing damage from the hit. When you hit an interdimensional creature or outsider with the sword, that creature takes an extra 2d10 radiant damage. You can decide with your DM what an interdimensional creature or outsider is, depending on their campaign. So maybe you're going to be defending against the Far Realm, and you could start hacking up some mind flayers, and that'd be kind of cool. Proficiency with a sword allows you to add your proficiency bonus to the attack roll for any attack you make with it. So it's just kind of standard stuff. The legendary hero spear, weapon spear, legendary. It requires attunement. You gain a +1 to attack and damage rolls made with this weapon, as per usual. Bull thrust spear requires attunement. You must be wearing a suit of armor of resistance, any type. There's all different types: cold, poison, fire, ice. You can choose any type, but you have to be wearing one type of armor of resistance, and a pair of gauntlets of ogre power to attune to this item. The attunement ends if you take off either of those items. While you're attuned to this weapon and holding it, your strength score increases by 4, and it can exceed 20, but not 30. When you move at least 20 feet straight forward, 20 feet straight toward a target, you can make a gore attack on the same turn. On a successful hit, the target takes an extra 2d8 piercing damage, and the target must succeed on a DC 18 strength saving throw or be knocked prone. A gore attack is just your standard attack, but it's just you're charging at them. So this spear will do 1d8 damage. That's just a standard spear, so 1d8 or whatever. And it takes an extra 2d8 damage if it fails. So on a successful hit, the target takes an extra 2d8 piercing damage, and the target must succeed on a DC 18 strength saving throw or be knocked prone. So it's kind of cool. Bolt thrust, you can just, if you sprint at a person long enough, you can run and charge them, stab them, and you kind of thrust them up in the air, and then if they fail their strength throw, you kind of smash them onto the ground. And perhaps you've gone for like a fighter or something, and you just do a full round action on them, and as soon as they're still on the ground, you could go through action surge, and get another round of attacks on them and just absolutely destroy them. So it could be a very powerful weapon if used in the right combination of attacks. And while you're attuned to the spear, it has a thrown property with a normal range of 50 feet and a long range of 150. Immediately after you make a ranged attack with this weapon, it reappears in your hand. So one thing to keep in mind is when this spear is not attuned to you, a normal spear has about a range of 20 and 60, but when it's attuned to you, it's 50 and 150. It's one thing to keep in mind. Proficiency with a spear allows you to add your proficiency bonus to the attack rolls for any attack you make with it. And then we have the legendary hero's bow. It's a weapon bow type. Legendary requires attunement as per usual. You gain a +1 bonus to attack and damage rolls made with this magic weapon. Bow of Justice, I kind of went off of the anime, how he's all about justice and being hidden in behind the shroud of darkness and kind of being that beacon of hope and all that kind of crap. I just kind of went for that kind of flavor texty name. Once again, requires attunement. You must be wearing a set of bracers of archery and a cloak of Elvenkind to attune to this item. The attunement ends if you take off either of those items. Once again, I kind of went for archery because he's an archer, and also the cloak of Elvenkind gives you makes perception checks against you at disadvantage. So it's kind of like he wants to be shrouded in mystery and all that stuff. It's kind of a cool little flavor text for it. While you're attuned to the weapon and holding it, you gain a +1 bonus to your attack rolls, damage rolls, AC, spell attack rolls, spell saves DC, and all your ability scores while attuned to this magical weapon increase by 1. The bow also has 6 charges while attuned to it, and when you fire an arrow, you can expend this charge to deal an additional 1d6 radiant damage. The bow regains 1d4 plus 2 charges daily at dawn. The proficiency with a bow allows you to add your proficiency bonus to the attack roll for any attack you make with it. So it's, you might think it's really overpowered, but I think it balances up pretty well because people who use bows tend to only have one attack, so adding these kind of extra bits and bobs to it kind of just make it more competitive, because more than likely if you're going for ranger, you normally have maybe 2 attacks max. I doubt you're going to go barbarian, because barbarian makes more sense to go up in your face, just all out attack. Fighter, you could go fighter, but you're more likely to go for one of the more hand-to-hand based combats, unless you prefer to be a ranged fighter. But I think it balances out well enough with the other 3. The legendary hero shield, it just makes you very strong. You have a much higher AC. You have advantage against, or you cause disadvantage against range attacks. So you want people to get up close to you, and if they attack you up close, you can also hit them back with a Hellish Rebuke. So it's a kind of cool little thing. So if you gotta get up close to you, you're gonna take a hit regardless, and then you get at least 2 back every day if you use all 3 of them. So it's a cool little thing. Hero Sword is kind of cool. It's essentially more of a tricked out Vorpal Blade. My favorite is the Spear. I just think it's a really cool wombo combo effect, because like you get a bonus to it, but it's a thing you can only use in certain situations. It's not something that will come up in every scenario. So like if you're going to be running 20 feet at someone, you have to have a charge at them, and you're going to be using pretty much all of your momentum, all of your attack. There's a possibility to knock them out, but you never know. But yeah, I think these are pretty decent. I'm also going to be making a class breakdown for the legendary heroes. I'm not sure when that's going to be coming out. I'm kind of working on it at the moment. I found a cool couple of people who've made some cool of their own ones. I've been looking at them. They're pretty good. One on what was it, on Reddit, that had just a shield hero one. It was kind of cool, but it was like a shield wizard of sorts. It looks okay. I would have gone more paladin or fighter kind of hit die based, and then kind of make him have more cleric based spells. But that's just me. He went like full wizard, and I think it's just kind of overkill. But definitely going to look at it, take some inspiration from it, and then create my own one and share it with you guys. But yeah, stay tuned for that whenever that comes out, probably next week or 2. But yeah, this will be available in the link below. It'll just be on my Google Drive. You guys can download it. Feel free to use it in your games and let me know how it goes. In terms of DMs who want to throw these weapons out, I would basically say, like, if they find them, maybe they're all beaten up and dusty and not recognizable. But if you want to find out what it is, you can do like a detect magic, and you realize, oh, it's a magical shield, a +1. But once you bring the 2 kind of powers together, or maybe have some sort of lore that unlocks the full power of the shield, that's something that you can't really just do a detect magic and like, oh, this requires further gear, or maybe you have to go on a quest about the legendary heroes and unlock what gear they had that fully imbued the power of the shield. But that's just my preference, at least. But feel free to do your own story elements or whatever you want. But yeah, sure, we'll end the video there. Thanks everyone for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.